Tadej Pogačar delivered another stunning performance at the Tour de France today, but it wasn't so much his performance that really stuck out with me after digesting it all. It was some of what we heard from him and learned from him in those finish line quotes and interviews. A couple of things he talked about. One, the ghosts of the past and the ghosts in the machine. This history he had on this finish where Jonas Vingegaard beat him just 2 years ago. That was something he carried with him. And honestly, I loved hearing this from Tade because it reminded us that even in the yellow jersey, even the champion that Tade is, he does have doubts. He is not immune to doubt. And those were actually the words out of his mouth. Yes, there were moments when I doubted myself. I remembered 2 years ago and I was thinking, I wonder if Jonas is going to come back. And what's so powerful here for all of us is it's a reminder to go back to this mindfulness approach of not trying to remove all fear and doubt and distraction, but how we manage it and how we work through it. And Tade said he went external and he went very narrow. It was all about hitting the pedals, pedaling as hard as he could, and going to the top. All focus, all energy onto the pedals and onto the top of the next climb and to the finish. And that was the most productive for him. So a really nice reminder that even the champs like Tade, yes, they doubt. The word came out of his mouth. And the other couple things were related to feedback, right? So we learned from Tade after the stage that he lost radio communication, and this is something he relies on heavily. It was actually interesting to watch him. He was looking over his shoulder way more than usual. And so I was wondering if something was wrong. We saw him even tap to his ear when the camera was on him, trying to let his team directors know, I've got nothing. And this also required Tade to shift. So used to heavily relying on this external control, he really had to shift to this internal autonomy of being able to manage himself and once again direct that attention and focus where it was going to serve him. So instead of racing that gap to Jonas that he would get info on from his car, he had to bring all that effort and focus back to his effort, racing himself and getting himself pushing on the limit. And he said as much at the finish line, which he didn't say in his two previous stage wins, that he was really dead at the finish. He had no sprint. He couldn't have gone any harder. And removing that external feedback to where he's racing the gap and just putting the fire behind him and him realizing I have to race myself and my effort and get the most out of myself. That was a really powerful shift that took place with Tade and that we can all do and work on too. The final piece of feedback that he mentioned was the booing fans. And fans are feedback. We get feedback from fans, we get feedback from directors, we get feedback from competitors. And ultimately, it's us that decides what we do with that feedback. First, Tade is very clear. He does not place their opinion and their regard on him. It doesn't matter internally to him. It's the cliche, the people that mind don't matter and the people that matter don't mind. Yes, Tade respects the fans. He respects the public. But in that moment, no, he's not letting them in. He doesn't give them credence and credit into his mind and into his heart, into his effort. And if he does, he actually translates it. He translates the booing to motivation. He takes that feedback and he recognizes what it is. And he says, you know what? I'm actually going to go even harder from this and I'm going to squeeze even harder. And I think that's a really important message for all of us in a very noisy world where everyone's opinions are rampant and flying around and thrown at us, that ultimately we are the ones that decide what to do with that, what it means to us, and then how we translate it. We have the code for that translator that no one else does. So those three big takeaways: back to mindfulness and really awareness, acceptance, and re-aiming of attention with the ghosts of the past or the ghosts in the machine of this finish 2 years ago, how Tade persevered through that. And then navigating feedback, the relationship with his radio and the feedback from director and also the fans. Such powerful examples for us to learn from. Glad to share those couple mental performance takeaways with you all today and look forward to doing more as we get into the second week.